Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most physically demanding spot on campus. And now, one of the most beautiful. The benefits of physical fitness touch every aspect of our lives. Intellectual clarity, emotional well-being, and a sense of community are just a few of its rewards. Now, with the expansion of the Johnson Fitness Center, the chance to make ourselves leaner, stronger, and more agile is easier than ever before. The Davenport Cardio Gallery has been equipped with 14 treadmills, 12 elliptical machines, and 10 stationary bikes, along with 9 televisions and a rocking new sound system. TRX bands and new squat and platform stations have been added to the strength and conditioning space. The field house has been insulated and retrofitted with energy-saving lighting. And the view from outside the facility is just as striking as the view from inside, a reflection of the generosity of the Johnson and Davenport families and the hard work and dedication of the Johnson Fitness Center Renovation Committee. Now, I've already been able to use the new fitness center a couple of times, and it's made a world of difference. And I just want you to check this out. Okay. Hey, here we go. So imagine what it can do for you. Now, I especially want to thank and congratulate Ed Nordberg, class of 1982, and John Moe, class of 1977, who led the team of fundraisers to victory. Ed and John could not be with us today because they're in New Orleans cheering for the Baltimore Ravens in Sunday's Super Bowl. And they insisted that I, a Patriots fan, made sure that I said that publicly. Ed asked me to express his gratitude to all of the JFC Renovation Committee members who, quote, inspired, motivated, and challenged our alumni, parents, and friends to give so generously. Donors have rallied behind this project because of their own experiences as student athletes at Washington College, and because Washington College continues to uphold the highest standards of sportsmanship. In typical Shorman fashion, we were up against the clock to raise the funds and finish construction before the start of the spring semester. But I'm happy to report that we've scored a big win for Washington College. With more than $1.9 million in hand, this project attracted a higher percentage of private funding than any other capital project in any previous campaign. And the good news is, I'm told that there are still opportunities for alumni and other donors to honor the coaches who have helped generations of Washington College student athletes. With the physical transformation of the fitness center now complete, dramatic changes are on the horizon for Washington College as well. Our student athletes are already growing physically stronger. Our teams are growing more competitive. We have raised the bar for intercollegiate competition, and our coaches assure me that we will not ever lose another game. Not only are our undergraduates enthusiastic about this new facility, we've just made the job of recruiting talented student athletes a whole lot easier. With 3 physical trainers now on staff, we're able to offer physical conditioning to each of our 17 varsity sports teams and enhance our wellness programming for the entire college community. Throughout our history, Washington College's student athletes have consistently demonstrated the heart, the determination, and the passion that have made them formidable opponents. With this new and improved fitness center, our athletes now enjoy a competitive edge that promises to carry them to even greater accomplishments. I am now pleased, very pleased, to introduce Mr. Benjamin Johnson, a member of our board, and today, and more importantly, a representative of the Johnson family.
I can't quite show off my six-pack the way Mitchell did, although I could have brought a six-pack of Heineken. Any case, on behalf of the Johnson family, it's a great honor to be here at the dedication of the renovation of the Johnson Fitness Center. I also want to thank Peter Davenport and his foundation for these incredible machines, many of which I used this morning, actually, including Jacob's Ladder or Jacob's Torture, whatever it's called. Um, I also want to thank Mitchell and Elizabeth for leading the charge to make Washington College more fit and more competitive than it ever has been in the time that I've been associated with the college as a member of the Board of Visitors and Governors. And we all know it's a competitive world, and we endorse the student-athlete aspect of it, and competition is part of life, and it's actually a lot of fun when you get right down to it, but you need to be fit to have a chance. My father, William B. Johnson, was the class of '40, and I'd like to recognize Ann Hollingsworth, who was a member of that same class who made a big effort to be here representing the class of my father in 1940. Thank you, Ann, for coming here. My father had a brilliant academic record, maximum cum laude, second in his class. Never knew what a B was, but it was because he worked hard for it. He always said that preparation always won out over any type of inspiration that he might have gotten from anywhere else. But he played varsity tennis, and he also was on the varsity debate team. So he believed in athletics, and he believed in being fit. And I became a lifelong tennis player as a result of that, and Washington College gave him that opportunity. He also developed his leadership opportunities here. He was president of the Student Government Association here when he was at Washington College. He was president of KA, Kappa Alpha, his fraternity. And I think Mitchell has endorsed leadership and developing one's potential to the greatest possibility here at Washington College as a goal of the school, and my father did that, and I certainly endorsed that. My dad's legacy was a business legacy. He became a businessman after becoming a lawyer, and he led a Fortune 500 company called IC Industries that made over 100 acquisitions in his time. He was extremely successful. He served 21 years as CEO of IC Industries located in Chicago after doing 7 years as president of Railway Express Agency. But he couldn't have done that if he didn't have the right education, the right preparation, and the opportunities to develop those skills. His other legacy is his family, and part of our family is here today. My cousins, my direct cousins, I don't get to see them too often. It's great to be here in Maryland and make this connection. So we have from left to right, we have Joan, we have Pat, we have Diane, and we have JC, Pat's husband, here as part of our Maryland legacy. And my dad, very family conscious. And I might say this is a kind of an insight about my father, although he made the lead gift here, along with help from others like the Davenports and all the coaches, et cetera, but he dedicated it to his father. He didn't put his own name on the building or ask that his own name be put on the building. And his second legacy is related to our family, which is here, which is his brother, Rufus Johnson, who also went to Washington College, was class of '42. My uncle, great man, fun, engaging, veterinarian, entrepreneur, extremely successful in a very different way. But we created, with the help of my uncles, my aunt, Grace, and my father, the Rufus Johnson Scholarship, which is worth over $860,000 today, and helping to fund each year scholarships for deserving students. But once again, he chose to do that in the honor of his brother, who he loved dearly. We all did, Rufus Johnson. So I decided, in my own somewhat more modest way, to create something in my father's name, and that was the business internships led by Terry Scout here. The William B. Johnson, my father's name, summer internships for deserving business students, and I guess the business is still the major here at Washington College. So those are really the three tenets of the legacy that my father has left for Washington College: the renovation of the Johnson Fitness Center, the Rufus B. Johnson Scholarship, and the William B. Johnson business internships. And while we have done a lot for the college obviously did a lot for my dad and for our family, and has helped to create this legacy, and we hope this building lives and flourishes forever. So thank you very much for the opportunity. It exceeded my expectations, both inside and out, and I hope it continues under Mitchell and Elizabeth's leadership to make Washington College a more fit and competitive school than ever before. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben. It's now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Michael Cameron, a principal at Booz Allen Hamilton and the proud father of Stephen Cameron, class of 2012, and Ben Cameron, class of 2014. Both men played baseball for Washington College. In addition to his role on the Johnson Fitness Center Renovation Committee, Mike is a member of our Parents Council. He has been instrumental in developing internships and job opportunities for our students through the National Security Scholars Program, and he has helped many of our recent graduates begin their careers at Booz Allen. Mike.
Well, Ben, that was a tough act to follow, and I'm not sure I want to. But, I would like to start one recognition here that I think is so important. The Johnson and Davenport families, your generosity and continued support to this school has made this possible, and you've created an incredible foundation that all of the other efforts, the Renovation Committee and all the other donors and helpers have built on. So thank you for that. I'd also like to thank John Moog and Ed Nordberg. I'd like to, but they're not here. They're in New Orleans for the Super Bowl. And I got to tell you, if I had their connections, you'd be listening to someone else right now, because I'd be in New Orleans with them. But I don't, so here I am. And trying not to sound bitter about that. Kidding about John and Ed, but the amount of energy and insight and leadership that they provided to the Renovation Committee was important. I got to tell you, with their leadership, it was a pretty easy job. They kept everybody pointed in the right direction, kind of kept, a hand between our shoulder blades. And more importantly, they made all the hard work fun. So don't tell them I said that. I've got some other things I want to tell them when they get back. But do want to recognize their leadership. It was so important. I'd also like to thank the honorary co-chairs of the Johnson Renovation Committee, Peter Davenport, Ben Johnson, and of course, William B. Johnson. It's kind of motivating to work on a committee where you realize that you have that to live up to and to honor. So thank you for motivating us through this effort. I also like to thank the contributions of my fellow committee members, Norris Commodore, class of 73, Susan Denton, class of 69, L. Merton Gaines, class of 78, Robert Hughes, a parent, 2015, Eleanor Shriver McGee, class of 93, Barbara Maddox, parent, 2014, John Timken, class of 03, Gregory Tomaso, class of 98, Deborah Moxley Turner, class of 77, and John Warrington III, class of 86, and parent of 2016. I also like to thank the community for their support and generosity as well. It really does take a community effort to do something like this, and I don't want to leave out the congratulations and thanks to the community for their support as well. With the introductions aside and credit to all that's due, I don't want to diminish any of the efforts, but I got to tell you, this was a pretty easy job. When we talk to people, especially I think the alums and the parents alike have a very deep appreciation for the contribution of both athletics and academics to the rich Washington College experience, and all we really had to do was reach out. The selling part was already done. So, if all the jobs are this easy, Mitchell, please call on me again. And I have to tell you as well that, as Mitchell said, Deb and I are parents. We had one son graduate. We have one still here. As a member of the Renovation Committee and as a parent, I'd like to thank everybody for making this fitness center renovation a reality. This is a remarkable facility, and we're just so impressed and so happy to have been part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I would now like to introduce Kate Dugan, a sophomore field hockey player from Huntington Valley, Pennsylvania, who will offer some remarks.
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Kate Dugan. I'm a sophomore on the field hockey team. I'm speaking here today on behalf of my teammates and all the other student athletes here at Washington College. I hope to convey to you the appreciation and the excitement we have about the renovation of the Johnson Fitness Center and the creation of the Davenport Cardio Gallery, as well as share with you my experience with the Washington College Athletic Department. I entered my first semester not knowing what to expect in terms of the training regimen associated with being a D3 athlete. I was happy to find that my teammates, coaches, and trainers were completely dedicated and invested in athletics at Washington College. I found out quickly that as hard as I chose to push myself, the coaches and trainers were willing to give me the support and motivation to get me to the next level. Whether it was finding gym space for a spontaneous afternoon game of pickup or upping the max weight on my power cleans, the staff here goes out of the way to help us reach our full athletic potential. Another amazing aspect of being an athlete at Washington College is the personal attention that all athletes receive. Rachel Boyle, my head coach, in the first week showed not only to care about my performance on the field, but to show concern for all aspects of my college experience. Being a student athlete is something that is emphasized here at Washington College, and our coaching staff understands the importance of a balance between athletics and academics. The support system that my coaches and trainers offer me is something special about the program and unique to being a short woman. I would especially like to thank head strength and conditioning coach Johnny Jenkins for his contributions and unwavering support to make this renovation possible. Along with Coach Andrew Lux and Coach Julie Liebig. Having not only one, but 3 talented strength and conditioning coaches at work that work individually with each team is a rarity among D3 athletic programs, and something that athletes at WAC are fortunate to have. I can always count on Coach Julie to greet me with a smile at 6 a.m., on Coach Andrew to tell me to get lower in my squats, and Coach Jenkins to up my weights when I'm not looking. These trainers are there for every 6 a.m. lift, every day of the week, every season of the year. Coach Jenkins has really transformed the way that athletes train and condition in the off-season, and one only needs to look at the recent successes of our athletic teams to see the immediate benefits of his dedication. I would also like to thank Dr. Matthews and President Reese for their endless efforts and support throughout this entire renovation. This new fitness center is just another extension of the commitment that our institution has to the athletic programs at Washington College. This new space allows for our teams to grow and will undoubtedly help with recruiting efforts in the future. As an athlete here at Washington College, I speak for all of us when I say how thankful we are to the donors who have helped make this project a success. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. It's now my pleasure to introduce Brian Matthews, Washington College Class of 75, and our Director of Athletics.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us here today on this exciting dedication of a facility that really does make a difference. As you can see, the aesthetic beauty of the addition is remarkable and completely changes the southern end of our campus. This is a gateway in and out, and now the first impression for anyone that enters from this end is this building, and the last thing they see on the way out as you leave on this end is now forever this beautiful facility. The functional change, as has been mentioned, is really transformational for our campus. And when we think back to 1992, when the Johnson Fitness Center and the Field House were built, think of how transformational that was for this campus. Some of us that have a few birthdays behind us remember before this was ever here, and it's hard to imagine how the campus got by without this whole complex. Well, now with this has only been here for 2 weeks, And already, many of us come in and have a hard time imagining how we got by without this. When you imagine that from those two columns backwards, everything that we were doing was in that space, and now we have this, there's no turning back. It really is remarkable. There are over 400 varsity athletes now on campus. If you count club sports and intramurals, there's over 1,000 students participating in athletic activities here on campus. Most of them, especially all the varsity athletes, train year-round now. It's the nature of athletics. They train as teams together, and then they also train on their own time as individuals. They train with our strength and conditioning coaches, as Kate mentioned, and they also train on their own. This expanded space is critical to their success, and now they have space to really work in. And that makes a difference for a college athlete in their performance, and that matters to our students. The rest of us, students, faculty, staff, and the community, we're using these exercise facilities more than ever as well. Johnny Jenkins traces how many come through, and he has over 500 people a day coming through this facility using it. We now have a state-of-the-art, beautiful cardio space to work out on our own pace with enough equipment and without crowding, and there's still enough equipment and space to use the strength and conditioning part even when varsity athletes are in here using it. The recruiting impact is hard to even measure. You know, when a prospective student athlete, a recruit, visits a college campus, their eyes are trained to be a bit more demanding than the average college prospect. They not only look at libraries, dining halls, dorms, but they also compare athletic facilities. It's where they will spend countless hours perfecting their skills. And it's a major part of their college decision. They want to see game facilities, they want to see locker rooms, but they also want to see where they're going to go to get bigger and stronger. They'll spend more time in here than they will in their game facilities. Non-varsity prospects and their families also rank a college's workout facilities as one of the most important factors in their value comparison. Coach Shirk did a video that he uses on his blog for his recruiting, and he did it a while ago. And in it, he talked about the fact that this is the last piece of the puzzle on our recruiting tour for coaches. Our campus already competes extremely well with our library, our dorms, our dining hall, our stadiums, our locker rooms. This was the last piece of the puzzle. We now have a strength and conditioning center that meets the needs and the expectations of varsity recruits and prospective students and families. Coaches can't wait to bring their recruits and parents in here to show this facility off. And as any of us that have been here the last 2 weeks, we've seen our admissions tours come through and watch people's eyes light up when they come through as well. On behalf of the athletic department, coaches, staff, and the student athletes, we thank all of you who made this possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. The Benjamin A. Johnson Fitness Center will be a lasting treasure at Washington College. I can think of no more fitting tribute to a man and a family who have meant so much to Washington College for so long. It's now my pleasure to ask Ben Johnson to help me unveil the Master Donor Plaque. We have deliberately made this plaque temporary to accommodate the last-minute donations we've received as recently as this morning. Once we've raised the final $150,000, we will carve the names of our donors in bronze for eternity. So it's not too late to see your names there. Ben? And now, Ben, your work isn't done. We need the ceremonial ribbon cutting. So if Ben, Mike, Brian, and Kate, please join me. I also would like to invite the other members of the Johnson family. And Johnny Jenkins, if you can please come forward. Come on up here. The renovated Johnson Fitness Center is now officially open. Thank you for being with us today. Please take a tour of the facility and then join us for a reception in the Johnson Family Foyer outside. Thank you very much.